organs.
But no, I thought that through the Operation Paperclip that the doctors, we brought the German doctors to the United States.
Some of them came to the United States. Very few of them got charged with anything. Very few of the German doctors. And the German doctors were already involved in doing evil things before Hitler. Remember, I told you in 1920, Hitler didn't come into power until 1933 or 34. And Hitler was elected, by the way. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
He was elected and then became the dictator. And so yes, it is very similar to what was going on in Germany, and it was the German doctors. And I'm not opposed to doctors for lots of reasons, and I'm excited about many of the advances that have happened in medicine. But
there's a fine line, though. There's an ethical and a moral line.
Right.
However, in a practice.
And the ethical and moral line, those are rooted in words. One is Greek and the other is Latin, and they are very similar in the sense that they both revolve around how one ought to behave. And ought is a very special word. It's rooted in the word owe. So it's how the doctor ought to behave because he owes it to his patient to behave in a certain way. So ethics and morals. And so what they've done to that, and like when I went to college and to medical school, I learned ethics. And I also studied biology. And biology is a study of living things. Ethics is how one ought to behave. So what they've done is put together bioethics, and they're like water and oil. They don't mix. You can't mix when you're studying what's already set in place. That's biology with something with how one ought to behave. So you put them together and you get something that you can do anything you want with it, and they do.
There is actually no meaning behind that.
No, bioethics
do what you will.
is a field that they are not ethicists and they're not biologists. They are people who are trained to carry out something, and the way that brain death works is that they get the clergy and the people in pastoral care and to get involved, and then in organ transplants they have a designated requester, and a designated requester is usually a very nice person who dresses nice and befriends the relatives. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Oh, I know this has to be terrible on you. We'll do everything we can to help you. And all of that is part of getting them indoctrinated
procurement
to get their organs. And
I need to go take a shower.
see, and you cannot get any organs from a cadaver. Every organ that's transplanted is a healthy organ, and you can only get healthy organs from living persons. You cannot get any organs for transplant from a cadaver.
That's why you don't put it on your license.
And the things I'm telling you is that you are not allowed to hear. And because if you hear it, you will be upset, as all three of you are upset. And rightly so, you should be upset, because whose organs do they want? They want the organs from certainly from all children, but especially the people who are 16 to 30, and their life is in jeopardy. If they're unconscious and on a ventilator, they're going to get their organs, and they do everything to get their organs. And once the organs are taken, you can't bring them back to life. And so what they do is they tell the relatives, well, your daughter Sally would really like to do something good, and this is a way to make something good out of this tragedy, or your son. And while they have been getting organs from accidents and gunshot wounds, they now get more organs from overdose of drugs than they do from accidents and gunshot wounds combined. there are 8 deaths a day from overdose in Ohio, and they get their organs is what they want. And so what are they doing? They're giving the policemen the Narcan to counteract the drug, which gets them into the emergency room, but it doesn't save their life. It gets them in the emergency room, and they still get their organs. And so